Well, hey folks, it's your old pal King Waspinator. Welcome back to Total Party Skills. Yesterday, a fellow YouTuber by the name of Shadow and Sun was kind enough to drop a little review of my book, Vintage Future RPG, and I guess I wanted to address a few of the things that he had, said in that video about it. Most part, it was a pretty glowing, positive review. Hearing that I'm controversial apparently is not really a surprise. I wonder how much that is just largely kind of contained to the Legion of Myth circle. I did kind of, imply that there's some foolishness there at their leadership for platforming Venger Satanis so often. Venger kind of annoyed me and still continues to annoy me by dropping into comments and saying chalk over and over again. What the hell the guy has with chalk so bad, I don't know. But, everyone's got their thing. But, what was it, like almost a year ago when the Roe versus Wade stuff got overturned and he had tried to quickly throw out a pro-life adventure and put it on DriveThruRPG, and then DriveThruRPG took it down, and then he tried to make a stink about how DriveThruRPG is censoring him, and then DriveThruRPG put out a new terms of service about negative advertising and not trying to, put them on blast on Twitter for canceling your product and all that kind of stuff. Now, in general, overall, I don't look fondly upon the idea of censorship and all that kind of stuff. But when you are cynically trying to make a poor taste joke, go out of your way to make a poor taste joke, right on the eve of everyone being upset, and then DriveThru's like, yeah, no, you can't have this up here like this. And then you cynically try to make a big deal like, what? They canceled me for that thing I put up that was totally intended to try to get me canceled so I could get some attention? If someone gets genuinely canceled spontaneously, they weren't trying, and it's for something that actually is dubious, then by all means, support them and shake your fist at the man for trying to put his boot down on the little guy. But this was not that case. And considering that I also dabble somewhat in somewhat controversial topics in some of my games, I don't care for the potential threat, that causes to my own products. By example, at the exact same time that was happening, I had the idea when the Roe v. Wade stuff was going on of like, hey, why not put out a thing for D&D 5e where you take the idea of the shrinking instant fortress spell and then repurpose that into a portable abortion clinic. I had the idea, and then I didn't write it down and put it out on DriveThruRPG the very weekend where that happened. It's called having some sort of sense of discretion. So if that's what makes me controversial, so be it. I do, of course, obviously, I make statements about, calling for a general sense of solidarity and togetherness in the community at large. But still, on an individual level, we are all individuals and have to deal with each other individually. Also, there's just kind of the weird pack psychology of, it's kind of good for people to see that I am willing to relentlessly dunk on somebody if they annoy me, because then they know that if they annoy me, I might relentlessly dunk on them. And so mind your P's and Q's. Anyway, as saying, Shadow and Sun's review of it, of Vintage Future RPG, was pretty positive. It's good, hearing these things from people. I've yet to really get any sort of big, real, true negative pushback. He did comment that the thing that he found the most lacking in the game was the equipment section, which, I know. I intentionally made the equipment pretty simplified. I knew that there will be people out there who might find that annoying, and I figure, if they want a bit more detail to their equipment, they're big boys and can do it themselves. It's one of the things that I kind of intentionally left underdeveloped, usable but underdeveloped, because I'm trying to, in some ways, recreate something with my games that the OSR can't recreate, and that is the negotiation between players and game master to figure out exactly what to do with the artifacts found in the rule system and in the game setting. It's weird at times how afraid modern gaming culture has gotten to interpersonal conflict, because arguing is arguably one of the key features of being a nerd and being into role-playing games. And so, you need a little bit of that at the table. It's kind of a controlled demolition thing where, like, I'm choosing actively, here's where the weak spot in the rules is going to be. Kind of a choose your own battle kind of thing. But like I said, like, it's serviceable. But yeah, I don't tell you everything that's in a toolkit. It's in between you and your players to decide whether or not the player has a roll of duct tape or a hammer or a hydro spanner or whatever. Different time periods and different settings, you're going to see different things in that toolkit. So it's not like you can really universalize it anyway. But anyway, though, as far as like nitpicks go, that is not, the worst thing in the world. In some ways, it's also kind of a bit of a meta joke about, well, equipment sections are often kind of a tacked on addendum to a lot of role-playing games. And so I just kind of went in there with that as part of the design philosophy of, well, that's what role-playing games are, is lackluster use of equipment. The idea that in Escape from Planet Matriarchy, that he had said that if I was playing first half hour of the game, I'd just be wanting to, like, pick up anything I could find and get my hands on. Well, yeah, that's actually, that's good to have that instinct, and hopefully players of that game would have that instinct quite frequently, because the game starts off with them having just crash landed on a planet, and all they have is just like the one thing they had on them when they're strapped into their safety seats. And before the ship catches fire and blows up, they should try to scramble and get their hands on as much stuff as they can, because it's a survival game. Loading everybody up Palladium style with every last thing they could ever need, I mean, that's great, and there's games that already do that. That's not the kind of game I'm doing, but it's nice to hear being told things like, breath of fresh air, or inspirational writing, or that it's easy to write and easy to digest. He thinks that it's a good system for noobs, maybe not young kids because of some of the subject matter in some of my games, but for people late teens, early 20s who are just starting out to role-playing games. Yeah, my system is really easy to teach and just kind of helps give them the basic framework of how to operate in the mental virtual environment that we create when we run a role-playing game. And so yeah, that's about it. I'll leave the link to his video in the description box below. At some point in the last year, I guess I got ahead of him in subscribers, so do me a favor and do him a favor and give him a like and a thumbs up and a subscribe and hit his bell and all that good stuff. The good ones should try to buoy each other. It's not like the viewers only get to subscribe to one person and one person only. You can subscribe to as many people as you want. And so give him a little love for having given Vintage Future RPG a little love. And until next time, stay waspinated.